Inside the Classroom takes an in-depth look at one of Team Hardin County Schools' best teachers in action, featuring comments, class instruction, and insight inside the classroom.
I became a teacher initially because of an experience I had in my math classroom when I was in high school. I had a friend who would turn around after the teacher taught her lesson every day and say, okay, now it's your turn. And I realized during that interaction with my friend how much I enjoyed helping her. As I have grown as a teacher over the years, I have looked at that experience differently. I used to think that the reason that I wanted to be a teacher was just because I enjoyed seeing her aha moments. But the longer I'm teaching, the more I see that it's less about me. And so the reason I continue teaching, I guess, is that I enjoy helping kids become learners. I help them understand when they're doing well and how to solve problems, and seeing their love of learning and helping them develop that, it's sort of overtaken that initial reason that I became a teacher. What is the difference between a check for understanding question and a discussion question? Addison. For discussion, there can be multiple right answers. My math teacher, Miss Mitchum, in high school, I enjoyed the way that she ran our class. And I was in high school years ago, so to have a teacher at that time who would find a way to differentiate our lessons and help us move on at our own pace was very inspirational to me. I enjoyed seeing the way that she built our lessons every week and made sure that we didn't forget information and spiraled the instruction so that we were more successful. So seeing her teach gave me joy, and that inspired me to want to become a teacher. Now, can there ever be multiple right answers for check for understanding? Yeah, no, yeah. Maybe sometimes. Okay, so eyes up here. That was one of the things Ms. Wiseman said yesterday we were kind of struggling with. The difference between check for understanding and discussion questions. Okay, so if you look up here, I'm going to review. In my classroom today, you are going to see students creating their own questions about text. We have been reading Old Yeller, and up to this point, I have done the work in creating the questions that students discuss in class. However, I want the students to understand that good learners come up with their own questions. So we are going to talk about the difference between simple questions and complex questions so that they have a hand in creating the questions that will appear on their test over what we've been reading so far. It's important to give them choice and to make them an active participant in the learning. So we're going to kind of cycle through how you create questions. Check for understanding is where I'm looking to see if you understand what you've read. So there is a right answer that I'm looking for, okay? Right answer. What does that mean when I do that? Anna?
There's more than one answer.
There's more than one.
Mrs. Wyatt is an effective educator because she truly cares about students and that they are lifelong lovers of reading and writing. She really tries to connect with them and inspire them based on things that they're interested in.
Is it possible if I say to describe Travis that you describe him in different ways? Yes, but are there clearly wrong ways to describe him? Yes.
I've seen that Ms. Wyatt is an effective teacher because she really thinks about what she wants her end goal to be for her students, and she sets them up for that success in her lessons. And she always checks her students' understanding throughout her lessons, so she's not moving through content without them mastering it.
In that instance, I'm looking to see if you understand the character of Travis. But there's many right answers. So the difference, a discussion question, might be, how might Travis react in this situation. That's not in the book at all. Why would that be different from describe Travis? Why would that be different? I want you to have a conversation with your shoulder partner. What makes that question different? Go ahead. One of the most important things is building relationships with students. I cannot truly know their needs if I have not taken the time to know the kid. And a piece of paper that has data on it for a test score is not enough. So getting to know the kids and building relationships with them gives me that information to look at what their needs are in class, whether it is someone who needs interest pulled in a certain way, or needs things explained differently, or who needs the opportunity to talk it out with a partner. So getting to know my students and see what their needs are allows me to adapt my lessons and give them an opportunity to be more successful. So at that point I can do things like having them discuss in class and learn how to discuss properly. Think, pair, share, all of the Kagan strategies that we use and thoughtful ed really build into that. But getting to know the kids in the first place gives me the opportunity to know which of those strategies will work for them. You can look back in the book, but if you have to tell me how he's going to react in a new situation, you can use the book, but what else are you doing? Putting in your own words, your own thoughts, right? Okay, I want you all to remember that, all right?
Miss Wyatt makes learning fun by always cracking jokes with us, or like turning the lessons into something like a fun activity with like creative activities like glue and stuff.
Check for understanding questions come from the book, and that's it. Discussion questions are open for interpretation, meaning you might answer it one way, you might answer it another way, and you might answer it another way, and all of those ways are very different from each other. They can even be opposite, and they're still okay. Whereas describe Travis, we might have different answers, but they're all going to be similar, and we can use the book to support them.
What Miss Wyatt does for fun is she lets us work in groups. She lets us play games to help us understand what we're learning.
So discussion is where we have our own thoughts and our own opinions, and we're supporting them. Check for understanding isn't your thought or your opinion, because it's in the book. It's right there, okay? So in order to help us understand a little bit better, we're going to explore just one of these types of questions today, okay? And in our exploration of it, you all will actually be helping me build your test for chapters 1 through 4.
What Miss Wyatt does to make learning fun is she always bases things off of like books that everyone likes, or like she always adds a twist to it to make it fun.
Good readers ask questions the whole time they read. And they're going to ask questions that check their own understanding. But good readers do that in a certain way. So I want you to look up here. Our objective is I can develop check for understanding questions to help create a test, which means you all have to think like who? Me.
Miss Wyatt makes learning fun by like making hands-on activities and like lets us write on like the boards. It makes all these really cool slideshows. Lets us like read with partners and not just do it by ourselves.
Check for understanding questions can be broken down into two kinds. This is the first kind. Simple. I want you to touch your nose when you think you can define simple for me. What does simple mean? Touch your nose when you think you know what simple means. I would like for my red dot partner to tell my green dot partner what you think simple means.
In the classroom, Miss Wyatt definitely does a lot of think, pair, share activities as well as small group, and then leads up to that whole group discussion so that students can bounce their ideas off of each other. She's also very successful in bringing in technology and other resources. She definitely does a lot of books in her classroom because she is a reading teacher, but she makes it fun for her students.
What did she say? Tell me that.
She said, like it's easy.
Okay, so simple means easy.
I agree and disagree.
Okay, why?
The disagree part is because simple actually means pretty much like medium, like the same, like pretty much like no levels on like games, like the easy, medium, hard. Like simple is like probably gonna be medium.
Why?
Well, because simple would probably be medium.
Mrs. Wyatt uses discussion techniques throughout almost every lesson, and she really incorporates technology within that really reaches children and prepares them for the future.
Okay, so can I ask you a question?
Yes.
What makes the levels on the video game different levels? Because like on Mario, you're still going through a world. Okay, so what makes one more harder? What makes
The more you progress, difficult.
what makes it more difficult?
The more how it is.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
Well,
I want you to think about that as we have this conversation, because that's going to help you answer the next question I ask, okay? My greatest joy in the classroom is seeing kids take charge of their own learning. Seeing a student ask questions that have their wheels turning to where they're thinking beyond our lesson brings me joy, because my goal is to create a lifelong learner. So seeing students interested in taking charge of their own learning, it makes me a happy teacher, it makes me a better teacher, and I enjoy getting to point that out to the other students so that they can see what lifelong learning is about and why it's beneficial. Allie came up with a synonym for simple. What does the word synonym mean? They mean the same. So what is a synonym for simple that you came up with? Or that someone might come up with? Easy. Easy. How many of you all said simple is going to be something that's easy? Okay. Okay, so most of you all had that. So hands down, eyes up here.
I enjoy most about Miss Wyatt's class is I like whenever we do like a big essay or something, it's usually on something like, I wouldn't say easy, but like she gives a lot of information and stuff, which makes it feel way more easy than some of the other classes.
Easy is one definition for simple, but simple is a word that has multiple meanings. So there is a different meaning for simple that's related to easy, because you can actually have easy and difficult simple questions.
I enjoy the thing I enjoy most in Miss Wyatt's class is probably her reading like books to us, like the Watsons Go to Birmingham. It's really, she asks really good questions, and it's really fun answering them, and the books are really funny that she reads to us. So that definitely has to be my favorite thing.
Here's the true definition of simple. Okay, eyes are up here.
I love that everybody has a chance. Like, she will always call on somebody, like if they have their hands up. She always gives somebody a chance to speak. And I love that our room is themed in Harry Potter, and we can always have lessons based off that. And she's lets us do a bunch of Google Forms and like stuff on the computer, and I really enjoy that.
There aren't many parts to the answer. It's not a deep question. It's not very deep. So, an example of a simple question might be, is the main character? So answer that question for me. Who's the main character in our book? Travis.
I like how it's a reading class and not a writing. Well, it is a writing class, but I like to read books because we are reading books in here. So it helps. And when after we read books, she like lets us like pick out how we want our test to be like.
Here's another one. What is Travis's little brother's name? Okay. I don't know if we've... What color is the Chongo bull?
Being in Miss Wyatt's class as a student teacher, I have learned how to effectively set up assessments for student success. I've learned how some classroom management tips that will help me, ways that I can have students engage with each other in lessons, and I really feel like I've had a great time here, and I've learned a lot from Miss Wyatt.
Oh, not as many of you all knew that one, so it was harder, wasn't it? Why was that one harder? It's still a simple question. Why is it harder? Connor?
Maybe because you don't remember the color.
You don't remember it. It's a detail that didn't stand out. I want you to all go find the answer to that question.
Mrs. Wyatt is a very positive person. She always sees the best in any initiative that's asked of her, and she really encourages and inspires everyone to continue to improve every day.
Aiden, what color's the Chongo bull?
Mustard yellow.
Mustard yellow, exactly. So close your books. How was answering that question similar to answering the name of Travis's little brother? How are they the same? What would you have to do to answer both?
Maybe look at the text. One was simple, easy, and one was simple, difficult.
One was simple, easy, one was simple, difficult, but the point is they are right there in the text.
Miss Wyatt helps me to succeed by she knows what's in me and she knows how much I can do. So she pushes me to be the best I can be and to reach my full goal.
How might you describe the attitude of the Chongo bull? Theron, are you going to be able to put your answer on it, or your finger on the answer? On one specific place that tells you the answer? No. What are you going to have to do, Peyton?
You're going to have to look at it and then think of it in your head.
Look at it and think. These are called complex questions. So these are when we make inferences or draw conclusions.
Like, she helps everyone do our best by, like, if we have a question, she'll just answer it, and if we need extra help, she makes sure that we understand everything in the text or, like, whatever we're doing, writing, and makes our, like, writing sound better.
This is when we have to think and search. As the teacher who's testing your knowledge of the book, what kinds of questions am I going to come up with the most, David? Simple or complex?
Complex.
Complex. I'm wanting to see if you understand the text at a deeper level.
Miss Wyatt helps us do our best by helping us get onto the right track. Like if I'm like off track, then she will help us get on track. And also, if we aren't on the wrong track, she'll put us on the right track by explaining it more. And if we don't understand it, then she won't doubt us and she'll help us through it.
You and your partner are going to start creating questions for chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4. And here's what I'm going to do it differently than I had planned, just for time's sake, before you enter things in. I would like for...
Miss Wyatt helps me do my best by she can always tell what I'm like having trouble with, and she'll always have something to say back to help.
David, Layla, and this group. I want you all to come up with complex questions for chapter 1. You and your partner get to work together and write them down on a sheet of paper, okay? When former students come by for a visit, it is part nostalgia and it is exciting. Seeing the impact you've made in a student who takes time to come see you is heartwarming. It helps affirm what I do in this classroom. It is especially great when I see older students. I teach 5th grade, so they leave me and go to middle school and high school, and so when I see those students out and they make an effort to come see me and give me a hug or talk to me, it lets me know that what I'm doing in here every day is not in vain, that building those connections mattered, and having them talk about things that we did in class. It lets me know that I did my job. I did what I was supposed to, and that brings a sense of fulfillment and pride, and it is also at the same time humbling because I can see what they've gone out to do. Rayleigh, Addison, and this table group, you're going to come up with complex questions for chapter 2, okay? This table group and Aiden and Sebastian, you're going to come up with complex questions for chapter 3. Teachers are important because we affect society. The kids that we have in our classroom pass through our classroom, and they have to pass through our classrooms before they go out to join the world. If we do not take our jobs as teachers seriously, beyond just teaching the curriculum, then we are not equipping the future with the skills that they need to better our society and to better our civilization. We are raising tomorrow's leaders. So that starts in 5th grade, in kindergarten. Without us taking our job seriously, there is no hope for tomorrow. So teachers matter more than I think we realize. And then my last table group and you two are going to come up with complex questions for chapter 4. You're going to work. We have Miss Wiseman, myself, and Miss Bronner who are going to give assistance.
She's been a great mentor. As I said, I've learned a lot from her, and I'm really sad that I have to leave her classroom in a couple days.
When we finish this, we're going to share some of our questions with each other, and you all will be getting to put them into a Google form. We'll probably do that Friday, so that we can look at all of the questions that I will have to choose from whenever we go to take the test.
Mrs. Wyatt will be remembered from every student she has ever taught because they will truly love to read because of being in her class.
So what is he not sure of? Read that sentence out loud again. What is he not sure of?
I didn't much think my thinking.
Who's thinking?
Travis. Yeah, Travis.
He didn't think his own thinking would do what?
Take the turn that Mama would.
I think Miss Wyatt will be remembered by these students just because how much fun they can have in her classroom. But while they're having fun, they're also being very successful in their learning, and she lets them know that they're successful and lets them feel that.
What does that mean?
That means he wanted to punish them or do something.
He wanted to.
He's not sure what Mama would say about it. Yeah.
Does it? It says, I didn't much think my thinking would take the turn Mama wanted. Does it say I didn't think Mama would feel, I didn't know how Mama would feel about what I was thinking?
She'll be a teacher I remember in the future because her lessons are just, you could see how well they're planned and like how much effort she puts into teaching her class. And like, she puts a lot of effort into us, and like, she's just so amazing, and her personality is really good, and I love that about her. And yeah, I'll totally remember her. She's really good.
So what does it mean would take the turn? What does that mean?
To go like as well, like take the path.
Take the path Mama wanted. So what did Mama want?
She'll be a teacher that I remember because she taught me how to read fluently.
What does she want to do with the stray dog?
let Arliss have it because when Travis was little, he had one.
Yeah, so that's the thinking she wants Travis to have, right? But he's saying his thinking won't take the turn. What does it mean to turn?
And the reason she would be a teacher that I remember is because of, like, in her class we usually make a bunch of jokes and like have a great time.
You said to take a certain path, but specifically to turn. Stand up. Turn. What did you just do? Turn a different direction. So what does this mean?
So
I didn't think my thinking would take the turn Mama wanted.
So it means like to go the way that she wanted.
Ah, so how is he thinking about Arliss and the stray dog?
Like he thinks that she should get rid of the dog and punish Arliss.
Uh-huh.
Miss Wyatt will be a teacher I will remember in the future because my older sister had her, and like it's just I will always remember like the Harry Potter theme and having creative activities and just having a great teacher like Miss Wyatt.
So that's what he thinks. She wants something different. So what is he admitting right here? What's not going to happen?
That the dog is gonna go away.
No?
That
What's not going to change?
his thing.
So does this question really get to this point in the text? No. So what would a different question be that I could ask about this sentence?
Erica just goes above and beyond. She is the sponsor of our academic team, and she does anything that's asked of her above and beyond the regular school day. And she truly is the type of educator that we always need more of, that really invests the time because she cares, and she really wants to inspire children to love knowledge and continue to learn for the rest of their lives.
Travis has just admitted what's not going to happen. His thinking's not going to change. So this is a great complex question starter. Why what? How can you finish that sentence to make it about this? Why? Help her out, Mariah. Travis says my thinking's not going to change. Why?
Why was his thinking not gonna change?
Here you go.
She's a great teacher.
What kind of meat was hanging in the dog run? Close your eyes, because I want your answer, not your partner's answer. Show me. Hands down. Most of you got it right. That was a simple question.
She's just a very good teacher.
How did Travis know the second bull was saying he was the biggest and meanest and toughest bull? Close your eyes. Show me. Hands down. Open your eyes. It is a complex question.
I want to say she's the best reading teacher I will ever have in my entire life.
Why is it complex? Connor.
Because it doesn't directly say it in the text.
Very good. It doesn't directly say it in the text. You have to hear how he's talking about a brassy yell, and I can't even remember the other words he uses, but he describes it. You have to know what those words mean. You have to make an inference, and you have to understand that Travis has probably heard this before, hasn't he? And Papa. So it's complex. There's more than one part to it.